students, welcome to Radhika Smart Classes. Today we are going to learn chapter number 9 Light, which has topic reflection and refraction. So let's start. So first of all, this chapter contains basically two parts, reflection and refraction. What I will suggest, never do this chapter in one. Always split this chapter in two parts. Chapter part A and chapter part B. So it will be easy for you to do this chapter in part and it will not create any confusion. So first of all, what do you understand by word light? Anyone? Light is a form of energy. Light is a form of energy. Second, it makes us the things to see. Without light, we can't see. So natural source is sunlight, and in our homes we have a man-made sources, tube light, bulb, LED. Second, it always travels in a straight line. Travels in straight line. So everybody know what do you mean by the motion in a flight in a straight line? It is called rectilinear motion of the light. Rectilinear motion of light. Motion of light. So basically, light is made up of very small particles which are called the photons. So if you see this first page of this chapter, they have nothing so big to learn. Just you have to remember, light seems to travel in a straight line. A small source of light casts a sharp shadow of an opaque object, points to this straight line path of the light. We have done in our childhood this experiment. Do we remember? In a lower classes, when the hole is at the same level, you can see the flame of the candle. There is a hole at the same level. So if the person is seeing from here, you can see the flame of the candle. But if I put the hole up and down, one hole here, one hole here, one hole here, can we see the light? No, because light always travels in a straight line. Next, what we have to remember, if opaque object on the path of light becomes very small, light has a tendency to bend around, not walk in a straight line. That is all known as the diffraction of light. So till now we always used to talk about the light travels in a straight line, but here they are asking light can bend, and what is that called? Diffraction. Then the straight line treatment of optics rays fails. To explain this phenomenon as diffraction, light is thought as a wave, details of which you will study in the higher classes. So you don't need to worry about this paragraph, just simply they have told what is the diffraction of light when the ray bends. Sure. So let's start with the part 1, part A, which is called the reflection of the light. Before going to the reflection of the light, first of all, I am erasing this part. First of all, I want to ask everyone, what is the reflection? Anyone? Reflection. Bouncing back of light. Bouncing back of light. Bouncing back of light is called reflection. Now, what do you mean by bouncing back of light? We can't see light is bouncing. I give you a very simple example. If you hit the ball on a wall, wall will hit the wall and ball will come back, bounce back to us. Similarly, when the light bounce back, that is known as a reflection. We have done the plane mirror. Everybody remember plane mirror? Where do we find plane mirror? Every day when you get ready for your school, when we getting ready for our party, we have a mirror in our home which are generally plane mirror. This is a mirror dash which is coated with the silver. Silver is the best reflector. And then there is a normal. Normal means which makes 90-degree angle. What do you mean by word normal? Which makes 90-degree angle with the mirror, right? So there is another ray. What is another ray called? Incident ray. What is another ray called? Incident ray. It will incident, incoming ray. Suppose this is AO. What is this ray called? Incident ray, which will hit the mirror and it will reflect back. It will reflect back in the same plane, right? It will reflect back in the same plane. This is the incident ray. This is a reflected ray. So the incident ray making an angle with normal is called angle of incidence, and the reflected ray making an angle with normal is called angle of reflection. So everybody knows that we have learned two laws of reflection. We have learned two laws of reflection. So what is the laws of reflection? Laws of reflection states that, what is the laws of reflection, guys? Incident ray, normal, at the point of incidence, at the point of incidence, and reflected ray, and reflected ray, and reflected ray all lie in same plane. All lie in same plane. First law is clear. Second law states that angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. Angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. Means if this angle of incidence is 30-degree, the angle of reflection is also 30-degree. Here I have one question for all of you. If I say that, listen to me, this is a plane mirror, right? This is a plane mirror and this is the normal. Normal, if my incident ray, suppose this is my incident ray, pink color, is falling on the normal, is falling on the normal, then what is the angle of incidence? Then what is the angle of reflection? Anyone? Quick. It will be 0-degree. Why? Why? Because normal incident ray is falling along the normal, along the normal. That's why angle of incidence is 0. According to the law of reflection, laws of reflection, angle of incidence and angle of reflection are equal. So angle of reflection is also 0-degree. Great. Shall we go to the second question? Okay. If I have this mirror, guys, right? If I say this is the normal, this is the incident ray, this is the reflected ray. If this angle is 40-degree, what is the angle of incidence? What is the angle of reflection? Quick, I am giving you 30 seconds. Okay, shall I tell you the answer? See, first always find the angle of incidence. First find the angle of incidence. This 40-degree is not the angle of incidence. 40-degree is the angle of incidence and the mirror. I am asking the angle of incidence, means incident ray and the normal. So this total is 90-degree. This total is 90. This part is for 40. So what is the angle of incidence? 50. If angle of incidence is 50, angle of reflection is also 50-degree. Sometimes they will ask you, find the angle between incident ray, find the angle between incident ray, incident ray and the refracted ray, and reflected ray. Means What we have to find? Everybody understood? Angle between incident ray and reflected ray. Means this full angle we have to find. So how will you find full angle? I plus R means total is 100 degree. Hope everybody is clear. Third question. I have a two mirrors. Do you know when the two mirrors are kept at an angle? Like these two mirrors are kept at 90 degree. Two mirrors kept at 90 degree. How many images will form? How will you find the number of images? Anybody? 360 degree divided by theta minus 1. What does theta represent? Angle between mirrors. Angle between mirrors. Clear? So 360 degree divided by 90 minus 1 means 3 images. As the angle will keep on increasing, number of images will decrease. As the angle will keep on increasing, like I have suppose 360 degree. If I have kept mirrors at 120 degree angle, mirrors at 120 degree angle, so how many images will form? 3 minus, I will do it again. So there are the two mirrors which are kept at 120 degree. So how many images will form? 360 degree divided by 120 minus 1. 3 minus 1, 2 images. Hope everybody is clear here. Right? Now I am asking you one more question. You guys have to think and answer it. Right? So let's draw one diagram and answer me. These are the two mirrors. So there are two mirrors, AB and BC. Both are kept at 90 degree. Now listen, here is a normal on AB, right? An incident ray comes on the mirror AB. Suppose this is PQ. This is PQ and it reflects and hit the mirror BC. And this reflected ray from the mirror AB acting as an incident ray for the mirror BC, and there is again normal. Everybody know every mirror has a normal, and again it will reflect, right? Now my question is that find angle this A and B in the mirror B and C. What is given? This angle is given 30 degree. That's all. Shall we start solving together? Come. Now everybody knows that very easy. It is just a simple calculation, Kana. This is full angle 90. So this part is 30. What is this part left? This part is 60. It means this angle is also 60. It means this angle is also 30 degree. Now, suppose this point we take as the R. So can you see in triangle QBR? This is 90 degree because I have already told you both mirrors are at 90. This is a triangle 30 degree plus 90 degree plus this angle X is 180 degree. Sum of three angles of triangle 120 plus X 180 degree, or X is equal to 180 minus 120 60 degree. Now, if it is a 60 degree, then what is the angle A? Yes, it is a 30 degree. If angle A is 30 degree, angle B is also 30. Angle of incidence and angle of reflection are equal. So, very easy now. Angle A is 30, angle B is 30. Another way is you can take PQ and RS are parallel. Can you see both arrows are in the same direction and Q are acting as a intersecting line. So you can take these two. If you see this picture like this, they are co-interior angles. If this is 120, What is this? 60. And here is a normal. So these both angles are divided into two equal parts. You can solve in any way. Both ways you will get the same answer. There is one more question for you guys. Then we will move to the spherical mirrors. This is also very important. This is a mirror. Am I right? Everybody know this is a normal. Suppose this is a 40-degree angle. And this is a, what is this is? This is also 40. Angle of incidence, angle of reflection. But my question is that, can you find angle of deviation? Angle of deviation. Anybody? How do you find angle of deviation? Quick. Very easy. Look, come with me. We will do together. This is PQ. Suppose this is O. ROS. RO is the incident, SO is the reflected. Actually, incident ray was going like this. If you will see, I will change the color. Actual path of incident ray was this, but it got deviated here. It got deviated here. It got deviated here. Means, what is this angle? We have to find this angle with which it got deflected. This, if you will, I will extend this. I put R dash. ROR dash is a straight line. And what is a straight line angle? 180. So angle I plus R plus this question mark angle is 180. What is I and R, guys? 40 plus 40, 80. Question mark angle 180 degree. And what is this question mark angle? 180 degree minus 80. It is 100 degree. So what is the angle of deviation? 100 degree. So angle of deviation, if you have to find in a plane mirrors, just 180 minus 2 theta. So what is the formula? 180 minus 2 theta. 2 theta means incidence. Why it is double? Because incidence and reflection are equal. Hope you are enjoying the class. Shall we move to the spherical? Yes, come. Now come to the spherical mirrors. Oh, okay. There is one more thing. What are the characteristics of the images formed by the plane mirror? Characteristics. Everybody knows that. Let's quickly recap. Characteristics of image formed by plane mirror. Formed by plane mirror. So NCERT has written very beautifully. These are the laws. Angle of incidence equal to angle of reflection. Incident ray normal to the mirror at the point of incidence. Refracted ray all lie in the same plane. These are the characteristics. First characteristic is image formed by the plane mirror is always virtual and erect. Means this is the image where rays of light do not meet. It appears to meet. This types of the image we can't get it on a screen. Second, size of image is equal to the size of object. Means height of the image is equal to height of the object. If your image is 6 centimeter, object is 6 centimeter, image is also 6 centimeter. Third, image formed is as far behind the mirror as the object in front of it. Means this is the mirror. If your object is, suppose, if I take it 10 centimeter, your image will also form at 10 centimeter. Object distance and the image distance from the mirror are same, equal. And the last fourth point is image is laterally inverted. It is not completely inverted. Laterally means sideways inverted. Like how do we write? Shall I show you how to write laterally inverted? Like I write R. How will it appear in the mirror? It will appear like this. If I write C, it will appear like this. If I write L, it will appear like this. You have seen the ambulance. How does the ambulance is written in the? Have you seen? They always write laterally inverted like this. They always write like this. Why? because when you see the from your rear view mirror, you read it correctly, because they are also virtual and erect laterally inverted image. When we see it from our mirror in our bikes and the cars, you can give the space to the ambulance, you can read it correctly. Got it? Okay. Now, let's start with the second topic of this, the reflection chapter, that is called the spherical mirrors. Till now, what we have learned, plane mirrors, which you see every day in your life, in our home. But what do you say? Spherical mirror. Spherical mirrors are a curved mirrors. They are not plane mirrors. They are curved like this. Like this is a, like this type of the mirrors. These are called the curved mirrors. So when we talk about the spherical mirrors, we have two types of the mirrors. One is a concave mirror and one is a convex mirror. So how will I explain you? I am showing you every day you see in your kitchen. We have these types of the spoons, big spoons, curvy spoons in our home. So can you see this deep surface which is going deep, in which you pour something and eat? This deep surface acts as a concave side, whereas this bulging surface acts as a convex side. Am I clear? Deep, cave, when you go deep, cave, that acts as a concave. This bulging side acts as a convex side, convex mirror. Okay. So, I am explaining you here very easy way. You can make a small flow chart with me. Spherical mirror. Spherical mirror is of two types. One is a concave mirror. One is a concave mirror and one is a convex mirror. Right? So now Radhika auntie, tell us how we draw it on a paper. Very easy, guys. This is our sphere, glass sphere. Can you see, everybody? This is our glass sphere. From the glass, we have cut the surface like this. Can you see? Like this. Deep. This outer side is, bulging side is coated. We have made it opaque mirror. This deep side, so this is acting as a concave mirror. But how we draw convex mirror? What I show you, reflecting side is a bulging side. So we will make a letter C and the deep side is coated. So this bulging side is reflecting side. So rays will come here, strike and come back. Whereas in a concave mirror, they will go deep in a cave, they will hit here and they will come back. But before going to all that diagrams, first we should learn the vocabulary of the mirror. How? What is the vocabulary? Let's see here. So there are some words which we should learn about the mirror. First word is the, see, this is the mirror I have drawn. So if I show you here, okay, I am just erasing one mirror, so make you understand the vocabulary. This is a concave mirror, right? Center of spherical mirror, either it is a concave mirror, either it is a convex mirror, either it is a convex mirror. What is the center of the mirror called? What is the center of the mirror called? Pole. Please note down, geometric center of the mirror is called pole. What is a pole? Geometric center of the mirror is called pole. So first definition, geometric center of the mirror, geometric, please note down with me. Sometimes they ask you, they will give you the diagram, they will put the mark P. They will ask you what is it called, or they can ask you what is this called and define it. Geometrical center of mirror is called pole. Is called pole. P letter, pole. Right? Now second definition, center of curvature. What do you mean by center of curvature? Can I understand? We have made the mirror from the glass sphere. We have made the mirror from the glass sphere. Every sphere has a center, and we have cut the mirror from that part. We have cut the mirror from that part. Like this is my mirror I have cut. So center of curvature is the center of sphere. Center of curvature is the center of sphere of which mirror is the part. So center of curvature is the center of the sphere of which mirror is the part. Can we write the definition? Center of curvature is the center of sphere, is the center of sphere of which mirror is the part. Got it? Then what is the radius of curvature? What is the radius of curvature? Now what is the distance from center to here? It is called radius. Everybody know in a circle. So radius of curvature is the radius of the sphere. Radius of the curvature is the radius of sphere. Radius of sphere of which mirror is the part. Mirror is the part. Now come to the next word, focus and focal length. Understand this very carefully. Very interesting and very important, because if you understand this, it will be easy for you to understand the numerical. This is my concave mirror. Now there is one word called principal axis, right? What is principal axis? It is an imaginary line which pass through the center of curvature. It is an imaginary straight line which pass through the center of curvature right. This is a line which pass through the center of curvature and the pole. This is called principal axis. Hope everybody is clear with the word principal axis. Imaginary straight line. Now rays are going parallel to the principal axis. This is the incident ray. It will hit the mirror, strike the mirror, it will reflect and pass through one point here on the principal axis. Right? Now, there is this is incident ray number 1, this is incident ray number 2, which will strike the mirror and pass to the point from the principal axis. Then there is one more ray, incident ray 3, hit the mirror and pass to the point. It is called the refracted ray. There is one more ray. They all pass through one point at the mirror. What is that point? Which is where all the refracted rays meeting at one point on principal axis. That is called the focus. Am I clear? What is the focus? When the incident rays strike the mirror, after the reflection, reflected ray meet at one point on the principal axis. That point is called focus. Clear? But here, what I have shown here in a concave mirror, rays are striking, parallel beam of the rays are striking, and they all meet. What is the word we use? Converge. Meet means converge at one point. They are actually meeting at one point. So this is called the real focus. What is it called? Real focus. Whereas in a convex mirror, I am changing the color so that we can see clearly. This is the principal axis, the rays, but here rays hit the mirror, they do not pass through the focus. They will diverge because they cannot pass through the mirror. Instead of coming back, they go away from each other. They diverge. Refractory ray diverge up. So if you will extend them, they will meet behind the mirror. Rays actually do not meet. They appear to meet. So it is a virtual focus. It is a virtual focus. Have you understood? That's why convex mirror is also called diverging mirror. Convex mirror is also called diverging mirror. Here I want to explain again, if anybody asks you the difference between concave mirror and convex mirror. So how will you differentiate? First, you should tell their structure. Here, deep side is the reflecting side. Here, deep side is the reflecting side. Here is the center of curvature. Here is the focus. Here is the pole. Whereas in a convex mirror, bulging surface is the reflecting side, right? So what happens here? Everything is behind the mirror. Here everything is before the mirror. Here rays, parallel rays are coming. The rays are coming. They will all pass through the focus. They will all pass through the focus. That's why it is called the real focus. Where in a convex mirror, rays are coming parallel, but they will diverge. What will happen to them? They will diverge. They will diverge like this. So if you will extend them, they will look like they are meeting behind the mirror. That's why concave mirror is called converging mirror. Please remember, if they say concave mirror, what is the another name? Converging mirror. Why concave mirror is called converging mirror? Because parallel rays of the light meet at one point after the reflection. Whereas convex mirror is called as a diverging mirror. Where it is called as a diverging mirror, because parallel rays of the light do not meet. They go away from each other. They diverge from each other. Clear, guys? So in this page they have told only these things. um, they have told center of curvature, and they have told how they are different in concave and convex mirror. I have already told you. They have told you radius of curvature. They have told you the word principal axis. Then they have shown you here, this is a concave mirror. Please write it here. Concave mirror is a converging mirror. Show with the diagram. Converging mirror, show the diagram. So you will show this diagram where rays are meeting at one point. And this is a convex mirror B1, where rays are meeting behind the mirror. Where rays are meeting behind the mirror. So that is a convex mirror. It is a diverging mirror. It has a virtual focus. Now, next thing which I want to teach you here. So, distance between the focus and pole, what is it called? Focal length. What is it called? Focal length. So, what is the focal length? Distance between focus and and pole of the mirror. Pole of the mirror is called focal length. Is called focal length. Am I clear? So focal length generally they give in a centimeter, but they can give in millimeter also. Now focus, everybody clear? A point on the principal axis where the rays after the reflection actually meet, that is called real focus. Where they appear to meet, that is called virtual focus. Last vocabulary word, aperture. What do you mean by word aperture? Very good question. Aperture is nothing kana, like this is my mirror. Sorry. This is my mirror, right? So it is the diameter of this mirror, right? Reflecting surface of the mirror. So how much is the reflecting surface? That is called the aperture of the mirror. So how will you write? How will you write the aperture of the mirror? It is written here. Diameter of the reflecting surface of the spherical mirror. What will you write? Diameter of reflecting surface of mirror of mirror is called aperture. Generally, in these mirrors, we prefer the mirrors with a smaller aperture. Means aperture should be smaller than the radius of the curvature. We shall consider in our discussion only such mirrors where aperture is smaller than its radius of curvature. Now question time for you. Tell me whether big aperture is better to get the sharp images or small aperture is better. Comment your answer in the down. Next, is there any relationship between the focal length and if you ask me, is there any relationship between the focal length and the center of curvature? Like this is my mirror, right? This is center of curvature, this is mirror, this is pole. What is this called? Focal length. I think everybody is clear. And distance between the center of curvature and pole is called radius. Is there any relationship between them? Yes. Radius of curvature is always double of the focal length, or focal length is always half of the radius of curvature. Please remember, this is a very important point. Radius, this radius is always double. If this is a 6 centimeter, your focal length will be 3 centimeter. Or if your radius of curvature is 10 centimeter, your focal length will become 5 centimeter. Or if your radius of curvature is 20 centimeter, your focal length will become 10 centimeter. I hope everybody is clear. Shall we move further? Okay. So this is done. This is done. Now, yes, the most important topic is now formation of ray diagrams. How do we make the ray diagram in a spherical mirror? Plane mirror has one diagram that we know. But here in spherical mirror, we have to learn the ray diagrams for concave mirror and the convex mirror. Shall we start, guys? Very easy, trust me. There is just measurement. If you take that measurement and you can quickly draw the diagrams, and please learn the ray diagrams by heart, because if you understand the ray diagram, it is very easy to crack the numericals. Let's start. First, I am going to teach you the ray diagrams of concave mirror. Concave mirror. What is another name of concave mirror, guys? Converging mirror. What is another name? Converging mirror. Please keep your pen, pencil ready. I am giving you 1 minute. I want scale, sharp pencil and protractor and eraser. That's all. I don't want anything else. Quickly, please follow my instructions. You will get a perfect ray diagrams. Shall we start, guys? Sure. First of all, we have to remember the rules of ray diagrams. We have to remember the rules of ray diagram. What are the rules of ray diagram? There are 3 rules. It applies for both concave as well as convex mirror. This is my principal axis. Please, when you mark the pole, all the measurements, all the distances, we have to take it from the pole. Suppose at 6 centimeter from 0 to 6, keep your scale here. Keep your scale here. So, suppose here your scale is 0 and here it is 6. Shall I show you how? Okay, I will show you. So what will I do? I will keep it like this, 0, and okay, I will erase it. So first I will draw the line 0 to 6. This is 6. At 6 centimeter, I will draw the pole. So my pole should touch that 6 centimeter. It should be exactly. So here it is 0. 0 represents C. If you have a scale, please see here. This is my scale. This is 0 and this is 6. Actually, I have taken little bit more. I'm sorry. So here at the 3 centimeter, this is the 3 centimeter, we have taken a focus, because focal length is exactly half of the center of curvature. This radius is 6 I have taken, so focus from the pole is 3 centimeter because it is half of the radius of curvature, right? First rule says that if any ray is going parallel to, if any ray is going parallel to the principal axis, if any ray going parallel to the principal axis, how will it reflect? It always reflect through the focus. It always reflect through the focus. It should exactly pass through the focus. Exactly. This is the mirror. Don't forget to put the coating. This is the first rule. Am I right? Second rule says that, second rule says that if if this is the, again same way you guys have to take 6 centimeter, 3 if any ray is passing through the focus of the mirror, if any ray is passing through the focus of the mirror, this is the incident ray, how will it reflect? It become parallel to the principal axis. It will become parallel to the principal axis, vice versa. If any ray is parallel to the principal axis, it will pass through the focus. If any ray is passing through the focus, it will become parallel to the principal axis. Now, third rule says that, what is the third rule, guys? Again, CFP. If any ray is passing through the center of curvature like this, if any ray passing through the center of curvature, it will reflect along the same way. It will not bend. Why? Because ray passing through the center of curvature act as a normal. So incident ray falling along the normal, it reflect along the normal. Similarly here, the ray passing through the center of curvature act as a normal. So it will reflect along the same way. There is one more rule. Sometimes they ask, this is a concave mirror. So this is our coating. This is C, this is F, this is P. So if incident ray, look at me. If incident ray falls here, at, it directly strikes a mirror. It does not go parallel. It is not passing through C. It is not passing through F. It is just striking the, one second, I will redraw. If any ray strikes the pole, exactly at the pole, incident ray, so this is called angle of incidence. So it will reflect along the same angle, angle of reflection. If this angle of reflection, suppose I will erase it, guys. This little bit angle has become big. I want to draw properly. It is easy for you to draw because you have a scale pencil with you, protractor. So this is the angle, this is the incident ray. It will reflect along the same angle. So here principal ray acting as a normal, right? So this is the angle of incidence and this is the angle of reflection. This is also one rule. Have you guys understood? So they have shown you rule here. If the center of curvature, if any ray is going parallel, it is passing through focus. Second rule says that, if you will see here, if any ray is going through the focus, it becomes parallel. Third ray, any ray passing through the center of curvature, it reflect along the same way, same path, because incident act as a normal. And here, incident ray obliquely, reflected ray also get obliquely refracted and follow the laws of reflection, right? Now, I am going to teach you the ray diagrams, which is very, very important. Yes, these are the 6 ray diagrams I will teach you in a very, very easy method. You will never forget. First, total. See, concave mirror is called converging mirror. So when we use the word converging, it has a 6-ray diagrams. It has a 6-ray diagram. So you should remember the position. For example, I am writing here. First, object at infinity. Object at infinity. Second position, object beyond C. Object is beyond C. Third, object is at C. Object is at C. Just move one point. You know there is a position P, F, C, infinity. Infinity, then it is beyond C, then object is between C and F. Then after C position, it is between C and F. Fifth, object is at F. And the last ray diagram, 6th ray diagram, object is very near to the mirror. Object is between focus and pole. Focus and pole. So these are the 6 positions. So what is the best way to draw the diagram? I will tell you how to draw the skeleton draw diagram. Draw means skeleton. Then you can put the positions. See, first take a scale, right? Draw just full 15 centimeter along the scale, right? It is a concave mirror. Now, keep your protractor. Take your protractor. This is my protractor. What will I do? I will rotate the protractor. Oh yes, this is the way I rotating. And keep your protractor 90 degree. Keep your protractor 90 degree. Here it is the rotation here. Just I have to bring, wait 1 second. This 90 degree should come on the on the principal axis. Then draw the mirror 60 to 60. Then please mark the point 60 here, 60 here. So just draw the mirror from 60 to 60 like this. Am I right, guys? Good job. Now mark the point M dash. Right? Coating, don't forget. This is the diagram for or raw diagram for all the 6 without any position marking. This is the skeleton. Now keep your scale, bring your scale. I'm telling you how to mark. Put 6 centimeter at the pole, see like this. Then mark here point C and 3 point mark F. See here. This is C, this is F, this is P. Total 6 centimeter, 3, right? So this is the skeleton for every 6 ray diagrams. Now, first is object is at infinity. Infinity means your object is very, very far. What is the example? Sun. So here, first ray diagram, object is at infinity. Object is at infinity, right? So here, object as an infinity, we consider rays are coming parallel. Rays are coming parallel. Once the ray is coming parallel, how will it reflect? It will pass through the focus. Similarly, second ray will come. It will also pass through the focus. So where the image is meeting? At focus. So when the object at infinity, where the image form? At focus. Got it? So what is the NPS? We have to write nature, position and size of image. That is called characteristics of image, NPS. First, when the object at infinity, nature is real and inverted. Real and inverted. position at F, size very small, point sized. Point sized. Got it? I hope everybody is clear. Pakka? An object at infinity. What is the example? Example, sunlight. Sun. So where we use this ray diagram in our everyday life? Solar cooker, solar furnace. Where sun is at infinity, we keep the furnace cooker, so all the rays are focused at one point. All the rays converge at one point focus and the heat effect is taken. What is the second diagram? B. Then let's start with the second ray diagram. Object is beyond C. Object is beyond C. Means it is far from the radius of curvature. Means distance of object is more than radius of curvature. Same diagram I will, I will erase here. C and F is there. We don't need to erase that. So object beyond C means here is the object A, B. Don't draw the object too big, it will go out of the mirror. If you have a ruled notebook na, so one line object is enough. And never forget to name AB. First ray always go parallel from the tip of the object. First ray is going parallel. Can you see parallel? If the ray is going parallel, how will it reflect? Pass through the focus. Right? And second ray you can pass through the center of curvature. And how will it go? It does not bend because it acts as a normal. So where the image is forming? Between C and F. Between C and F. Now can you compare the size of image? It is smaller. See, object is above the principal axis, whereas image is below the principal axis. When image is below the principal axis, it is called real and inverted. So what is the NPS? Nature is real and inverted. Real and inverted. Position between C and F, and size is diminished, smaller, diminished. Am I clear, guys? Two ray diagrams are done. If the object at infinity, image is at focus. If the object is beyond C, image is at between C and F. Now third ray diagram, when the object at C, third position, when object is at C. So how will you draw? Object is at C. I am just erasing so that I can teach you again. Object at C. This is AB. First line is always parallel to the principal axis. Please, these lines should be straight and it should be a sharp pencil. AB. Object line is, how will it pass? It will pass through the focus. And how this, object should be at C. Object should be at C. Like this. M dash. Right? Here is the C, here is the F, here is the P. Object is here A, B. It is at C. So first ray go parallel. Always remember, when object at C, image is also at C. Object distance, image distance are same. Object height, image height is same. So ray will pass through the focus and second ray will pass through the focus. How will it form? It will become parallel. Image will form exactly at the same position. A dash, B dash. Don't forget to put arrows. Arrows carrying marks. 14. Please recheck all these points. See, I am doing at your level, so that what mistake generally at your age we make, I am also showing that ki please focus on that, so that we don't miss anything. So when the object at C, image is also at C. So what is the NPS, guys? And image is again below the principal axis, real and inverted, position at C, size same size. See, can you see when it was very far point size? When it is beyond C, it is diminished. Now at C, it has become same size. Got it? I hope everybody is understanding. Fourth ray diagram, object is between C and F. When object is between C and F, right? So, we have put the object between C and F. Again, draw the mirror. Again, draw the mirror. This is C, this is F. Here it will be P, M, M dash. I told you how to draw with the mirror, with a protractor. Object is between C and F. First ray go parallel, pass through the focus. Second ray, you can pass through the focus and it will go beyond C. Where it will go? Beyond C. Can you see it is going beyond C? Or what is another way if you don't want to pass it through the focus? There is another easy way. I will tell you. You can pass first ray passing through the focus, second ray tip of the object and the like this. It should hit the mirror. One second. I am showing you. This is M dash. Actually, measurement should be appropriate. Then your ray diagram will become perfect. This is AB, your object. Ray go parallel. It will pass through focus. Second ray pass through the focus and it become parallel. So object go beyond C. Very neat diagrams come. Trust me, when you will draw with a pencil, scale with proper measurement, it will come with a neat and clean diagram.